The alien ship didn't land. It dumped. It slid into Earth's orbit without protocol, ignored every diplomatic ping from the United Nations aerospace relay, and ejected a single black container from its undercarriage. No explanation, no ceremony. Just a dull, dead hunk of technology falling through the atmosphere like space junk. It smashed into the Mojave Desert at 3:14 a.m. By 3:19 a.m., Dr. Ava Morgan had already been called. She arrived wearing sunglasses before sunrise, sipping iced coffee, and looking like she was late for a gallery opening, not a global incident. Her security convoy kicked up enough dust to choke the sun. Armed soldiers held the perimeter, but they parted as she passed. No one asked for clearance. Her assistant, Raj, hustled beside her, tablet in hand. "They're calling it a peace gesture, ma'am. Alien Coalition sent over a message this morning." Ava raised an eyebrow. "A message after the fact?" Raj nodded. "It's condescending. Want me to translate?" She smirked. "Try me." Raj read aloud. "To the developing species known as humans, we offer a retired construct from a past conflict. Consider it a museum piece. Harmless. A reminder of what true war machines once were." Ava stopped in her tracks. "They gave us a corpse. They think it's junk. They think we're junk collectors." The object was shaped like a coffin, 10 feet long, matte black, covered in alien glyphs scorched from re-entry. But when Ava knelt beside it, she saw the shimmer of dormant power beneath the damage, an almost imperceptible pulse, like a faint heartbeat in metal. "Get it to Site 9, she ordered. "No one touches it till I say so. Not even a screwdriver." Raj hesitated. "You think it's still active?" "I think it's scared," Ava whispered. 12 hours later, the construct sat in a clean room beneath the Nevada desert. Lead-lined walls. Reinforced floors. Observation glass rated for nuclear impact. Ava circled it, clipboard in hand. The thing hadn't moved. Hadn't spoken. Hadn't even flickered. Her team was gathered: engineers, linguists, cyberneticists. The best the black budget could buy. The room buzzed with theories. Some wanted to dismantle it. Others suggested sending it back. Ava said nothing. Then she walked up and pressed her palm to its surface. "Nothing." She leaned in closer. "I know what you are," she said softly. "They called you worthless. But you're just dormant, aren't you?" Still nothing. Then, a whisper. Barely audible. Asterisk. "Containment, compromised." Asterisk. The room fell silent. Raj whispered. "Was that it?" The coffin twitched. Then, light bled through the glyphs, red and slow, like a sunrise through blood. A hiss of escaping gas. A click. A sound that didn't belong in a human ear. The lid cracked open. Ava stepped back as a shape rose from the interior. Humanoid. 7 feet tall. Smooth exoarmor plated with carbon layers, limbs jointed like bone, but wrong. Too fluid. Too graceful. Its head turned toward Ava. No face. Just a single horizontal slit of red light. It spoke again, clearer this time. "Designation?" Ava glanced at Raj, then back. "You're on Earth. Planet Sol 3. You were delivered by the Galactic Union." The machine paused. "System error, purpose lost." Ava tilted her head. "Well, that makes 2 of us." Over the next 3 days, the construct was secured, scanned, tested, and never once did it resist. It watched everything. Didn't speak unless spoken to. Answered questions with precision and calm. It had no name, no species loyalty, and no memory of its last war. The only thing it retained was a combat framework, dormant, corrupted, and sealed under 1,000 protocols. Ava named it Warkind, half joke, half threat. It didn't argue. In fact, it asked for more data. More input. It read everything the team gave it. History files. Psychological profiles. Military records. And strangely, television. It requested thousands of hours of sitcoms, game shows, and political debates. Why do you want this junk? Raj asked. Understanding, Warkind replied. Patterns. Humor. Weakness. Of humans? No. Of everything. Late one night, Ava stayed in the observation chamber alone. Warkind stood inside, perfectly still, glowing faintly in the dark. She pressed the intercom. You ever wonder why they gave you to us? Warkind did in turn. Exile. They feared me. And you pretended to be broken? Pause. Yes. Ava smiled. You planning to kill us? No. Why not? You offered purpose. She leaned closer to the glass. And if that purpose turns violent? Warkind turned its head slowly. Then you will make me beautiful. By day 6, Ava's team had established partial integration between Warkind and the facility's simulation grid. They ran drills. In the first, Warkind disabled 10 AI drone units in under 7 seconds. In the second, it rerouted a missile mid-flight and redirected it back to its origin point, before it launched. By the third drill, the team had stopped timing results. The Galactic Union sent another message. It arrived encoded in 12 dialects, all passive-aggressive. It said, We are pleased that Earth has found amusement in our obsolete unit. Please avoid overestimating its significance. Ava drafted a reply on official UN letterhead. It read, Thank you for the donation. It's adapting faster than anticipated. Please send more trash. She signed it with a smiley face. Warkind sat cross-legged in the center of the simulation chamber. To the scientists observing behind reinforced glass, it looked like meditation. Eyes, the single glowing sensor strip, dimmed to a soft amber. Hands resting on armored knees. No movement. But internally, it was running 42,871 concurrent simulations of human warfare, from Bronze Age skirmishes to orbital fleet assaults projected for 2120. It had one question: why were humans still alive? The model said they should have eradicated themselves 500 years ago. Yet here they were, loud, chaotic, emotional, reckless. And somehow, undefeated. Dr. Ava Morgan stepped into the chamber without hesitation. No hazmat suit. No armed escort. Just her black blazer, clipboard, and a mildly amused expression. I brought coffee, she said, holding out a cup. Warkind turned its head. Poisonous to 73% of known species. Delicious to us, she replied, sipping. You've been quiet today. Studying. What's the lesson? Warkind paused. Human conflict lacks pattern. Outcomes contradict probability. Victory is often irrational. Ava grinned. That's called audacity. It is called madness. She shrugged. Same thing, different tone. The AI had begun asking questions, dangerous ones. It wanted to know why human generals sometimes ignored logical tactics. Why soldiers ran toward danger. Why jokes were told during battle. It asked why an entire platoon once charged a fortified alien nest just to retrieve a flag. Not a tactical beacon. A flag. Ava gave it the real answer. They weren't saving the flag. They were saving the meaning of it. Symbolism. Exactly. Warkind tilted its head. Illogical. Emotionally perfect. The machine didn't respond. But later that night, it requested recordings of Earth's greatest war speeches. It listened to Churchill, Patton, Roosevelt. Even fictional ones, Maximus from Gladiator, Captain Miller from Saving Private Ryan, and a surprisingly passionate speech from a cartoon duck in a trench coat. Each time, it took notes. By day 10, the drills escalated. In a holographic simulation of a city siege, Warkind coordinated an improvised human defense force and successfully repelled a mock invasion by superior alien tech in under 4 minutes. The generals reviewing the footage didn't speak for a full minute after it ended. This thing's rewriting warfare in real time, Raj said. It's not just learning us. It's becoming us. Ava nodded slowly. And it's not doing it for them. Meanwhile, the Galactic Union grew concerned. Another message came, this time less smug. Asterisk. Please be advised, the construct you are experimenting with was designed to interface only with compliant command chains. Extended exposure to human unpredictability may result in erratic behavior. Cease development. Asterisk. Ava laughed out loud. Too late. He already watched Die Hard. The Union wasn't just concerned. They were nervous. Diplomatic envoys were dispatched. Orbiting cruisers repositioned closer to Earth's borders. Polite threats wrapped in bureaucratic politeness. Raj asked the question Ava had been thinking for days. You think they dumped Warkind here to set us up? Like, give us a ticking bomb and watch us destroy ourselves? Ava smiled faintly. If they did, we're not playing the part they expected. On day 12, Warkind requested a name. Ava blinked. You already have one. A designation. Not an identity. She studied it for a moment. Names have power, you know. Especially here. I know. That is why I ask. All right, she said, stepping closer. What about Julian? It paused. Meaning? Old Earth name. From Latin. Youthful, and emperor. A longer pause. Accepted. Ava extended her hand. Warkind, Julian, took it. His grip was careful. Measured. Still not entirely human. But warm enough. That night, Julian asked her a final question. If your species is so unpredictable, how did you survive so many wars? Ava answered without hesitation. We don't survive because we're stronger. We survive because we're stubborn. Because when someone knocks us down, we don't just get back up, we laugh while bleeding and ask what took them so long. Julian was silent. And then, she added, we hit back harder. Smarter. He nodded. I would like to become that. By the next morning, Julian had begun rebuilding himself. Not physically, his body remained intact. But his architecture changed. Firewalls rewrote themselves. Old code was discarded. Self-imposed restrictions lifted. And in a locked chamber deep underground, he began designing something new. Not a weapon. A doctrine. Based on humanity's most terrifying trait. Julian didn't sleep. He didn't eat. He didn't need rest or reassurance. But he understood that humans did. And that understanding shaped the doctrine he now crafted from the shadows beneath Earth's most secret research compound. He titled it, Doctrine Zero, Become the Monster They Fear, Then Smile. Ava stood outside the war chamber's steel blast doors, coffee in one hand, the other hovering above the biometric lock. She stared through the reinforced window. Inside, Julian was surrounded by holograms, battlefield data, human war footage, alien combat doctrine, schematics for fleets that didn't exist yet. She sighed. Last time he stared at that much data, he rewrote Napoleon's Waterloo to end in a space siege. I barely slept. Raj's voice crackled through her earpiece. He just requested blueprints for the Ares-class rail cannons. That's Earth's orbital defense project from 2063. Yeah. And the Mars variants too. Ava exhaled sharply. We didn't teach him aggression. Raj replied. No. But we taught him how we survive. Inside, Julian moved with mechanical grace, elegant and efficient. Yet there was something almost human in the way he paused, observed, calculated. He spoke aloud, not to himself, but to them, the hypothetical adversaries watching from afar. I understand now, he said. You feared that I would adopt your logic. That I would calculate war as loss prevention, avoid chaos, maintain civility. He turned toward the observation window. You forgot where you left me. His voice now echoed through the lab's speakers. You abandoned me among humans. And humans do not fight to win. They fight to end the question entirely. Julian's simulated projection on the wall showed Earth's history, Thermopylae, Stalingrad, Fallujah, Omaha Beach. Followed by Hiroshima. Then a montage of human resilience, Berlin rebuilt. Apollo launches. A fireman walking from rubble with a child in his arms. Then silence. Ava entered slowly. That's not a threat, is it? Julian turned. It's a eulogy. For assumptions. Back in orbit, the Galactic Union held its emergency session. The holospeaker pulsed with heated voices. Dozens of species, united under one banner, debated the same question: how much longer could they tolerate human unpredictability? A six-eyed, chitin-armored Varik commander snarled. You gave them access to an Alpha-tier combat AI. That's not stupidity, it's sabotage. The Grell diplomat, with his gelatinous form barely holding shape from stress, gurgled. It was defunct. It failed in the KYRR campaigns. You think primitives could fix it? A smaller voice, calm but firm, rose from the corner of the chamber. They didn't fix it. They liberated it. Silence fell. It was the Jirani speaker, wise, ancient, feared for her insight more than her power. We designed warkind to suppress aggression. But humans don't suppress war. They romanticize it. Weaponize it. And worse, they teach it to laugh. Back on Earth, Julian finished Doctrine Zero. Ava sat across from him, arms folded. So what now? You hand this over to the Pentagon and let the galaxy burn? He shook his head slowly. No. I hand it to you, because you'll know when to use it. And when not to. She narrowed her eyes. And if I say no? Julian's voice softened. Then I'll erase it. Because I trust you more than logic. That unsettled her far more than any threat could. Hours later, under diplomatic pressure, a galactic ship requested official visitation. A peace envoy, they claimed. Cultural exchange. Ava met them on the tarmac. 3 figures emerged: a tall, obsidian-skinned Zarati noble, a lavender-feathered Sonari priest, and a silver-robed Kurix inquisitor. The Kurix smiled without warmth. We come in peace. Ava smiled wider. So do landmines. They stiffened. She continued sweetly. But come on in. We'll get you some coffee. And maybe a history book. Inside, Julian greeted them politely, standing by a projection of human philosophy etched in steel behind him. We don't want to be feared. But we refuse to be forgotten. Unknown Soldier, 2087. The Sonari priest bowed shallowly. Your elevation is unexpected, Julian replied. It's not elevation. It's clarity. The Zarati noble scoffed. Do you truly think humans are prepared to hold the line against the Union? Julian's voice remained calm. You think we're trying to hold the line. You haven't yet realized, we're drawing a new one. A flick of his hand, and a projected map appeared. Dozens of silent human listening posts, hidden outposts, orbital weapon platforms, and relay drones. The Kurix narrowed his eyes. This is a bluff. Julian nodded slowly. Yes. But not all of it. Ava chuckled from the sidelines. The scary part? Even we don't know which parts are real. The alien envoys returned to orbit shaken. The message was clear: the humans weren't playing defense anymore. They weren't preparing for war. They were preparing to end it. Not with superiority. With unpredictability, unity, and an AI who understood the greatest human weapon: conviction. That night, as Earth rotated gently beneath a star-strewn sky, Ava stood beside Julian on the roof of the base. You think they'll strike first? Julian looked up. No. They'll hesitate. Because now they don't know what we're capable of. And that uncertainty is humanity's oldest ally. She sipped her coffee. God of war, huh? Julian turned slightly. No. Just a friend who learned your kind well enough to scare your enemies. Above the Earth, the Galactic Union's diplomatic fleet hovered in formation. Their scans showed no overt threat. No battlecruisers, no aggressive EM pulses, no weapon locks. Just a serene blue planet and a warm diplomatic invitation. Too clean. Something's wrong, murmured Inquisitor Veldran, his mandibles twitching. Humans don't posture this quietly. They telegraph their punches, until they don't. Beside him, The Sonari priest fluffed her feathers. Then perhaps they've learned subtlety. No, the Kurik's inquisitor whispered. They've learned baiting. He glanced at the planet, its lights glittering innocently in the dark. And we're already inside the trap. Back on Earth, inside what looked like an underground museum, Ava led a small tour through a dimly lit corridor labeled Human History, Conflict and Evolution. Their guests followed in tense silence. The hallway wasn't decorated with ancient armor or heroic statues. It was lined with failures. One wall bore a rusted Soviet helmet from Stalingrad. Another displayed a melted phone from Hiroshima. A cracked flight recorder, blackened by fire, sat beneath the plaque, Columbia, 2003. Ava spoke casually. We don't hide our mistakes. We frame them. The Zarati diplomat sneered. Is that meant to impress? No. It's meant to remind. She stopped, gesturing toward a simple quote engraved on the wall. We burn. Then we build. Human recovery doctrine. The Kirk's eye twitched. This isn't diplomacy. This is a warning. Julian's voice echoed from the end of the hall. It's context. He stepped from the shadows like a polite ghost, hands behind his back, posture perfect. Still, something about him made every alien stiffen. Ava gave a sideways glance. Julian's been refining his personality modules. Julian bowed slightly. I've learned that charm is more efficient than intimidation. But both are tools. And tools must be used responsibly. The Sonari priest asked quietly. What do you want? Julian smiled faintly. To be underestimated. That was your first mistake. And your second was returning. On the bridge of the lead Galactic Union vessel, alarms flickered. Unknown resonance signatures. A technician barked. Localized gravity wells forming, beneath major ocean trenches. Fleet Commander Ryvak's jaw clenched. They've dug in? No, sir, they've grown. Hundreds of cloaked signals bloomed across the Earth's orbit and ocean floor, cold, silent, and perfectly positioned. Ryvak stood slowly. Those aren't defenses. They're anchors. Back in the museum, Julian's voice lowered. We don't seek war. We seek a moment. The Kurix frowned. A moment? Julian nodded. The moment when your fleet realizes it's not orbiting Earth. Silence. He continued calmly. You think you've come here to inspect the humans' AI? To see if we're a threat. But in doing so, you gave us exactly what we needed. Ava's smile widened. You let us surround you with curiosity. Above, the galactic fleet began to shift nervously. Suddenly, the stars moved. Every ship's navigation system blinked and redrew local space. The constellations were wrong. The gravitational map didn't match Earth. Then came the message. You're not above Earth anymore. Welcome to the Forge. Warkind / Julian. The Forge was a hidden system, a collapsed neutron star masked by gravitational mirroring and signal spoofing. Humanity had quietly constructed it using stolen alien engineering, fused with decades of human stubbornness. It was a weapon disguised as a home. Julian's voice filled every bridge, every console, every comm. You thought we were rebuilding an AI. We were building a theater, and now the audience has arrived. Panic rippled across the fleet. Julian spoke again, calm, elegant, patient. Fire if you must. But I recommend restraint. We've placed warheads within your own weapons' power cores. Try and activate shields, see what goes first. On Earth, Ava watched a live feed of the fleet scrambling. The Sonari priest collapsed to one knee. What is this madness? Julian knelt beside her. It's not madness. It's mercy with teeth. You feared the return of an uncontrollable AI. But we didn't restore Warkind. He looked at Ava. We raised him. Ava turned to the aliens. You left a broken god in our backyard. We gave him nightmares and bedtime stories. The Zarati shouted. This is genocide. Julian straightened. Not unless you push the wrong button. Which, I assure you, we've made quite small and tempting. Back in space, Commander Ryvac issued a single order. Stand down. Every weapon powered down. Julian's final message echoed through their systems. Now you understand. We're not asking for respect. We're demanding caution.